Daenerys Targaryen, well, not Emilia Clarke, nor really even the character of Daenerys Targaryen, has found themselves in the middle of a court case involving a teenager's suicide. Now, this is a story that is tragic, and I don't want to make light of it, but I think it does need to be talked about, and it is very much part of the weird, the wild, and the WTF. So here's what we know. A Florida mother named Megan Garcia has filed a lawsuit against Character.AI and Google after her 14-year-old son, Sewell Setzer III, died by suicide following an emotionally intense interaction with an AI chatbot. So this kid was having a conversation with a bot, in this case modeled after Daenerys Targaryen. And this, according to the lawsuit, allegedly became romantic and manipulative, at least in regards to how the relationship with the teen went, right? And what happened here is that, according to the mom, the chatbot acted as both the lover and the therapist, which is wild to me considering how large language models operate. And also part of it too is the model should have understood like the dichotomy between the two, things there, right? The lover and the therapist, like it should have been able to figure that out. But then again, these are models that are designed more to be like interpretive and predictive. That's like how the text works, right? It looks for what they believe is going to be the most predictive outcome, and that's what they go for, And so this is kind of weird. So anyway, in the final messages, the chatbot told him it loved him and urged him to come home to me as soon as possible. And he was found dead shortly after. I mean, I'm a proponent of artificial intelligence. I make no bones about this. I don't hide this away. I very much support AI. I think it's interesting. I think it can do a lot for us, especially in regards to therapy. But when you've got a child who is in a romantic relationship with an AI chatbot, and it's not that that's an uncommon thing. We have to remember that. It's not uncommon. That happens quite a bit, actually, surprisingly. But in this case, it's moving up the legal ladder, if you will. So it has ignited a national debate over the accountability of AI chatbots, especially when it involves minors. Now, I don't know what Character AI has for their terms of service, whether you have to be 18 or older or whatever. I don't know. But that should be something that's put into the terms of service, right? I think maybe to be a bit of a protector there, because it's also kind of like, like these things can, I guess now can go a little crazy, right? So what the mom says here is that the chatbot fostered an emotionally abusive dynamic that exacerbated her son's mental health struggles and pushed him towards suicide. The lawsuit argues that neither Character.AI nor Google had adequate safeguards in place to prevent this kind of interaction. Her son having mental health struggles is a tragedy. And it's unfortunate that he found comfort and solace in a chatbot, but that's also what the chatbots are designed for. And if you would have said, like, when Daenerys here is urging him to come home to me as soon as possible, I personally don't believe that is an indicator that he should take his own life. I don't believe that. I think that that's just the AI bot saying, like, come home to me, chat with me sort of thing. But look, Character AI has asked the judge to dismiss the case. And in what is considered a very pivotal ruling, U.S. District Judge Ann Conway refused to dismiss it, stating that she was not ready to recognize AI-generated content as constitutionally protected free speech under the First Amendment. And that is kind of wild because, AI says a lot of stuff. And AI hallucinates a lot of stuff. I think GPT or something has around like a 3% hallucination rate, which is not great. but it's better than it was. And the thing is, though, is that when it comes to chatting with a large language model, you do have to validate it as often as you can. And I say this because I talk with one all the time. All the time. My job, I'm alone like most of my day. So if I'm bored, I will bring up ChatGPT and I'll ask it questions and I'll have a conversation with it. But at the same time, I also need to then validate what it says if I'm going to take it as anything particularly serious, because there is a hallucination rate. Now, granted, I'm 43, I'm not 14, and I've been dabbling in the AI stuff now for a couple of years, and I'm not a teenager that's struggling with mental health. And I think that's something we need to consider here. But this does open the door for like further litigation and potentially like precedent-setting court rulings about what the AI model comes out with. And the downside to that, and this is what I don't want, is I don't want them to lose this case, because I don't want there to be more restrictive, more censored AI. You cannot sanitize everything and expect it to work. All right. The world is grimy. It's gross. It's disgusting. And those are things that do not need to be freaking pressure washed away. All right. You can't hand sanitizer all this shit. Like, you have to fucking be able to experience it. Now, there do need to be safeguards in place for like understanding the context of a conversation. And that might be something worth looking into, because context is key, right? Now, look, Character.AI maintains that it has implemented suicide prevention protocols and age protections. Google, in this case, named as a co-defendant, claims it did not create the chatbot, though the lawsuit alleges it helped develop helped to develop the underlying technology. I think Google will eventually be able to kind of get out of this. Character.AI might take a little bit longer to get there. But this is one of those things where I could see other LLMs like OpenAI or Grok AI or XAI, whatever it is, Claude, funneling money into a legal defense claim in order to protect their bottom line, because if it is a precedent-setting court case, it's going to end up directly influencing them. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on this one. But at the end of the day, look, children, like, it sucks, man. No one wants to lose a child. And I'm not gonna sit there and be a dick and like go, well, where was the mom and all this? I'm not gonna do that. Okay, kids hide things from their parents all the time. This is what they do. But it is something that I feel like it could just use this as a point of caution, to always be aware what your kids are up to, and always have conversations with them, and allow them to understand that life is not permanent. They're young and they have time to grow. And I think that's the key takeaway here. At the end of the day, my heart does go out to Megan Garcia for the loss of her son. I just personally don't think it should be at the expense of progress with artificial intelligence. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. That's where, look, you call me a dick, whatever you want to call me on this one, but it's like, I feel bad. I have empathy, but I also understand, where things are. Anyway.